No, show your hands. Stop. Show me. Drop down. Drop the gun. I'm the owner. I'm the owner. Stop. Show me. Drop down. Drop the gun. I'm the owner. I'm the owner. I'm the owner. All right, come on with your hands up. Yes, sir. I'm serving you guys. Get over here. Come here with your hands up right now. Walk. I'm the owner. Keep walking. Drop it. Drop the phone. Put the fucking phone down right now. Oh my God. Get your hands up. Yes, ma'am. Walk backwards towards me. Walk backwards towards me. Keep walking. Keep walking. Keep walking. Go to your knees.
For those that don't know me, my name is Robert Aldridge. I'm the Executive Assistant Chief with the Fort Worth Police Department. I recognize some of you from our council meetings or from other police incidents, and it's good to see you here again today. I'm grateful to stand before you today to say that none of our officers, the business owner, or citizens were injured or killed during this incident. There are 1,000 different things that could have occurred during this call that could have changed the outcome. But fortunately, that was not the case during the early Wednesday morning hours. As we saw in video, there was a gap in communication between the owner and the police officers. The officers were unaware that the business owner was on scene, and the business owner was unaware that the officers were on his property. At 3:45 in the morning, our 911 communications center received a phone call from it was a commercial burglary alarm from an alarm company. The call details indicated there was high probability that somebody was on scene. Prior to the call being dispatched, there was another call that came in, and there were additional details added to that call sheet that basically said the alarm company spoke with an individual who had checked the cameras, had a valid passcode, stated the door was open on site, requested dispatch, but did not indicate if they were going to be responding to the scene or not. At 3:50 in the morning, our officers were dispatched and arrived 7 minutes later and started searching the property, and that's when the officer-involved shooting occurred. Fortunately, the business owner immediately threw down his weapon and identified himself. Officers then de-escalated and momentarily took the subject or the business owner into custody so they could verify his identity and make sure that there was no other potential threats on the property. It's important to note that we value our partnerships with businesses in Fort Worth, and our neighborhood patrol officers play an essential role building these connections every day. We also encourage our patrol officers to go by these locations as well whenever their call load permits. At this specific location, many officers from varying agencies have had a meal there, including our Fort Worth officers. The 2 officers that were on scene for this critical police incident have been with the police department for 3 years. At this time, I'll open it up for questioning if you guys have any questions.
When this first came out, as double S information that it was a property owner and a Fort Worth officer, the public immediately started talking Aaron Dean and Tatiana Jefferson. How have y'all gone about dealing with those kind of conversations with the public who compare the owner was on his own property?
Right.
But he didn't, as you said, he didn't say, I'll be there too.
Right.
What goes on with something like that?
So, I mean, it's been about 6 years since the Tatiana Jefferson shooting, and I understand that there are maybe some similarities with this case compared to the other one, but there are some substantial differences with this one as well. This one, we had some information that indicated there possibly was somebody on the property. We had an alarm company that gave us that indication. This was a business that was closed. Nobody should have been there. It wasn't a private residence. But I can tell you with the Tatiana Jefferson shooting, we have had a lot of conversations not only with community members, city leaders, and it's constant communication to let them understand our training tactics, what we have done to try and improve, the relationships in the community.
What is the message to business owners in situations like this who call the police for help, knowing that their business has been compromised, but yet go to the business before police get there? What's the message in this?
Man, that's a great question. And so for me, what I would tell the business owners, if you're going to show up to the business, let us know. Let us know what you're driving. Let us know what you're wearing. Let us know if you're armed, because we want to know what we're going into before we show up and surprise each other, as you saw in this video. For us, we understand the business owner has an interest in that location, but on the same token, you're calling us for help, and we want to help. No officer wants to go, and no officer woke up today saying, I want to shoot my firearm. I want to shoot at somebody. They were presented with a threat. They reacted to the threat. But I would tell any business owner, just give us as much information as you can. It's okay if you show up. We may tell you to park down the street. We may tell you we're on the way. But please give us that latitude so at least we know that you're showing up.
Chief, it's obvious it was very quick and adrenaline was very high. The owner today, his interpretation of what happened is that the officers didn't announce themselves and that the only thing he recalls is hearing gun and then they shot at him. Can you respond to that?
Sure. So in an ideal situation, whenever the officers have time to announce, they're going to announce. You can see from the video, things happen very, very quickly. The business owner himself pointed his weapon at the officers unknowingly, knowing that those were officers. And so the officers really didn't have time to say, hey, I'm the police here, what are you doing? Because things unfolded so quickly. So.
Do you at least identify with his point of view in that he felt like they were the bad guys?
Oh, absolutely. I can put myself in his shoes that if it was my business and I was on the property and somebody's yelling at me to drop a gun and I'm not knowing who they are, I can see his perspective for sure.
Chief, could you walk through, based on training, what happens when an officer gets to a situation like this where there's been a break-in, you've gotten information that the business has been compromised? What is the procedure once your officers get there as far as making sure that the business is safe or cleared?
Sure. So whenever the officers arrive, of course, they try and take note of any vehicles or anything that's in the area. They already have information that there's possibly somebody on site. So they're going to go through the property itself, as you saw, with their guns drawn, because they don't know what threats they're going to face that are lurking in the dark. This was in the early morning hours. And their whole job is to clear the entire property. And we didn't show the entire video, but after the business owner was detained, officers continued to clear the property to make sure there were no other threats before we released the business owner and went back to business.
Are you saying a key part of, perhaps, if you will, the breakdown is that he did not let the dispatchers know he was going to his business?
It would have this probably would have had a different outcome if he would have let us know, yes, he was going to be on site. The business owner, like when we received that second notification that the alarm company had reached somebody and they validated the passcode, they looked at the cameras, they saw that a door was open, he could have said, yes, I'm going to go there. And we could have probably gotten a lot more information about, okay, what vehicle are you driving, what are you wearing, so we can let the officers know whenever they show up.
With that being said, are y'all going to implement, or do y'all usually ask the business owners when they confirm something like this, are you going to the location, or hey, if you are, can you stay down the street? Or is that going to be something y'all are going to implement now with the call center?
So one of the challenges with commercial alarms is that we receive the information from the alarm company. So all that information, we have to go back through the alarm company to pass that on. But I can tell you that our dispatchers, if they know that somebody's going to be there, they're going to be asking more questions about the details of the individual, what he's wearing, and we would ask him to stay down the street. That, listen, we're on the way, we will check out your business, and we will contact you as soon as we see that it's clear.
Even though he announced he was the owner, how long did it take police to confirm he was the owner?
It didn't take very much longer after that encounter. So once they kind of cleared the building itself, recognized there were no other potential threats that were there, they were able to identify him and get that cleared up pretty quickly.
Can you talk about, I want to make sure I got the scenario right. It looked like when you slowed down the video that he pointed his gun first at the officers prior to the shots. Is that correct?
That's pretty much the perspective I got as well, yes.
We have time for one more question. Does the owner face any type of charges?
No, none whatsoever. He's allowed to protect his property.
And your two officers, you said don't leave, how long?
So they will be returning to work tonight. They completed their significant event leave as of tonight, so they will be reporting to work tonight.
And is it two?
3.
Three.
2 officers, 3 days that they were off.